너무 좋아. Good morning, sir. Satish, sir. Good morning, sir. Satish, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. A very good morning to all the participants gathered here for the faculty development program.
Satish sir.
Yes, I am available. Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Issue. Participants, there is a small technical issue. So we are going to end the session. Kindly rejoin. Kindly rejoin, please.
ready.
Mute on.
A very good morning to one and all present here. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. This is a quote by Walt Disney. Welcome to the 7-day International Virtual FDP on an expedition towards multilingual culturalism. This is day 6 of our FDP. In today's program, we are going to explore Korean language. Prayer is aligning ourselves with the purpose of God. Let us all rise for the prayer song. Thank you all. Dear participants, thank you for joining us today. Here we present before you the gist of our 7-day international virtual FDP through a flamboyant video prepared by our student Abhinandan. Here we go. That was a wonderful video with right editing. Thank you, Abhinandan of 2nd BCom CA. Thank you all for watching. Here we have amongst us Mr. Satish Satyarthi, lead educator and founder, LKI, South Korea. He is going to enlighten us on the topic Annyeong haseyo, Korean language for novices. We are immensely happy to have you amongst us, sir. Welcome, sir. I invite Mr. K. Vijay Kumar, Head in Charge, Department of English, to deliver the welcome address.
A very splendid morning to you all. Today is a history making in the 7 days FTP with an eminent resource person, Mr. Satish Satyarthi, sir, from South Korea. First of all, I recall the blessings of Dr. K.P. Ramasamy, sir, Chairman of KPR Group, and driving force of CA Munusamy A.K. sir, the Secretary of our college. I feel really privileged to welcome the galaxy of intellectuals, distinguished dignitaries, dignified deans, respected faculty members, and energetic participants who have joined here to grace the occasion virtually. I cordially welcome you all. It is first and foremost duty to welcome our principal of our college, Dr. S. Balusamy, sir, for his gracious presence over here. Welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome the deans from the various schools and faculty members from all the departments. It is my great responsibility to welcome the coordinator of this FTP, Mr. V. Hari Prasad, sir, and the organizers of this FTP, Dr. N. Ravi Kumar, sir, and Dr. J. Kritigaini, ma'am. Welcome you both. And it is my great responsibility to have a multilingualist, Mr. Satish Satyarthi, sir, a lead educator and founder of Learn Korean in India, South Korea, has consented to be the resource person of today. A hearty welcome to you, sir. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I invite Mr. V. Hari Prasad, Assistant Professor, Department of English, to introduce the chief guest of the day.
Fantastic morning to one and all present here. You are the artist of your own life, says James. As per the quote, we are having the artist. Satish Chandraya Satyarthi, lead educator and founder, LKA, Learn Korea in India, South Korea. He is Korean language educator, author, and founder of leading Korean language website like Topic Guide, LKI, and others. He is passionate about e-learning and using technology in education, and also extensive experience in online education content development for Korea and Hindi learning. He is active in language education and research for 7 years. He is co-author of the book Korean Language for Indian Learners. And the list will go on and on. His achievements will be long as Nile. He presented 5 research papers in Korean language and linguistics presented in national and international seminars and conferences. He got selected for prestigious Korean government scholarship program to pursue master in Seoul National University. He was selected to represent India in youth campaign camp for Asia's Future 2009. He received POSCO Asian Fellowship from POSCO TJ Park Foundation, and we are eagerly waiting to enlighten us, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Yeah.
Learning another language is not only learning different words for the same things, but learning another way to think about things. With great pleasure, I welcome Mr. Satish Satyarthi, lead educator and founder LKI South Korea, to share his valuable knowledge, sir. Please, sir.
Namaste. Annyeong, haseyo. Thank you. I would like to thank everyone from KPRCAS for having me here, for giving me this opportunity to deliver my talk on Korea and Korean language. I'm really privileged to be here, and I hope I'll be able to add some value to this wonderful program, FTP, that you are having. So let me share my screen first. I hope you can see my screen, and I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. When I was contacted by the wonderful coordinator and organizers for this talk, I was given a topic that I have to teach basic Korean and some cultural stuff. And because we are all multilingual people in India, so we know that it's not possible to teach a language in 1 hour or anything. So I thought that why not take this opportunity to have a brief idea about Korea, what Korea and Korea relation between Korea and India is, and how I feel that many of the participants in this meeting are faculty members of different institutions. So I thought that if we can focus on the career part, at how we can benefit our students in their career through Korean language, so that can help our students as well as our faculty member in helping our students. So I'll be doing that. So I'll be covering the basic information about Korean language, and how it can help the students in India. So let's start by knowing Korea. So Korea is a country located in the Northeast Asia, nearby China and Japan. And if you can see here, this part, highlighted part, there are two countries. On the south part, the country name is Republic of Korea, while on the northern side, we also have a country called North Korea. And many people are confused between North Korea and South Korea. They think that when we talk about Korea, mostly people think that we are talking about North Korea, because the North Korean, this country is dictated by a dictator, Kim Jong-un, which is always in news for some reasons. So most of the people, they know Kim Jong-un and they think that this is the real Korea. But here in this presentation, when I say Korea, I'm talking about the Republic of Korea, that is South Korea. And there is a stark difference between the two countries. North Korea is like a authoritarian state, and it's a economically very poor country. While on the other hand, South Korea is one of the top best, most developed countries in the world, and it's a flourishing democracy. So we will be focusing on South Korea today. Now, Korean people, they call their country Hanguk, and the Korean language is called Hangugo. And the capital of this country is Seoul, mostly we read it like Seoul, but the correct pronunciation of this word is Seoul. So it's a very small country with a population of 5 to 6 crore and an area of 1 lakh kilometer square. So you can say that even Tamil Nadu is bigger than South Korea. So in the in terms of population and area, but the country is a developed country and it's the 10th largest economy in the world. So if you see the size, being the 10th largest economy is really a big deal, a huge thing. And the GDP per capita of this country is 34,000. And to just look at it in the perspective, India's GDP per capita is $2,100. So if you see, like they are like almost 15 times bigger than India's GDP per capita. The official language of the country is Korean language. And because North Korea and South Korea, they were one country before their independence, they were divided. Uh, so they still have the same language and culture. So Korean is the language of North Korea as well as South Korea. This is the traditional dress of Korea that is called hanbok. Though these days people rarely wear this. People wear hanbok only on traditional occasions when they have some festivals or when they have some uh, traditional festivals and the family gathers somewhere or when they go to some traditional tourist spots or something. So this is the hanbok. Their traditional festivals, now they have so many festivals. Korean people like to go out and enjoy and do party and enjoy the life. But here I'm just talking about two major, the most biggest festivals in Korea. One is Chuseok and the other is Seollal. So Chuseok is basically the harvest festival. Like in India also, every state has its own harvest festival, and it is celebrated on the 15th day of 8th month of lunar calendar. So they still follow lunar calendar to uh, fix the date of their festivals. And the Sonlal is basically the new year, lunar new year, as per the lunar calendar. So you see here the things that they do on these festivals. The first picture you can see that they are worshipping and they're paying their tributes to their ancestors. So that is a very common thing that they do. So all the people who are living anywhere else in the country, they visit their hometown and they visit their parents, and there they like worship their ancestors. They go to their uh, tombs and or graves and so on. And here on this on the right side you can see that on the Solal, the tradition is that all the younger people in the family, they will like bow and greet the oldest members of the family, parents or grandparents, and they will give their blessings to them, and they will also give some money as like a token of blessings to the younger people. Uh, so these are the festivals, and this is the traditional house of Korea, which are called Hanok, and they are made of wood, and they are like open from all the four sides. And because in Korea the winters are really harsh, the temperature is very very low, so they have like an inbuilt heating system in all the houses. So the floor is like it gets warmed by some heating system inside. So this is the Hanok. Nowadays, it's very difficult to find Hanoks. Most of the like cities are filled with like skyscrapers and concrete buildings, but still in villages you can find Hanok houses. And Korea has 4 seasons. Uh, in India also we have like 6 seasons, like we say we have Shad Ritu, but in reality it's very difficult to distinguish between weathers. Mostly we have like summers for 8 months. I don't know, like in other places it may be different, but in northern part of the India, the summer is like for 8 months. You have 2 months of winter, and 2 months are like mixed between winter and summer, or some rain or something. So it's very, because of the population and global warming, the seasons can't be distinguished. But in Korea they still have very distinct 4 seasons. So if you come to, it's, if you notice here, it's like the, similar places, same place, in the photo of same place taken in 4 different seasons. So if you come in summer, you will see that it's all green, the whole country will look green. If you come in the autumn season, all the country will be looking yellow or orange or red. And in the winters, like everything will be white because it snows a lot. And this is the spring season in which you will see cherry blossoms. So these are the four distinct seasons of Korea, and they are very proud of their seasons. Korea is a country which is naturally very beautiful. It has like a splendid natural beauty. And at the same time, it's very modern and very dynamic and very much developed. So the 70% of the country is covered by mountains and forests. And they have preserved their nature really well. So if you go to the rural areas or even in the main capital city, you will see many mountains covered with trees and everything. So they have preserved their nature and their rivers and everything. It's very clean. And at the same time, if you come to their cities, they are highly developed. They have like one of the tallest buildings in the world. They have 24-hour electricity and all the facilities that you can find in any world-class city. So it's like a combination of modernity and nature. Now, one thing I really want to focus on here, because we are all here related to education somehow. So I wanted to focus on this part once. So Korea is a country which is really obsessed with education. They value education a lot. And they also call it education fever. So everyone is really crazy about education. They understand the value of how education can change the destiny of a person or a country. So it has 100% literacy, and 96% population of Korea has access to internet and smartphones. Even you will see that 95 year old people, they are using smartphones. They are using, all these social media and everything. They are like playing games and all. So that's really interesting that it has such high penetration of internet and smartphones. And over 80% of high school graduates, they go to university. 80%. So that's a really high percentage. And if we talk about global top rankings of universities, six Korean universities are in global top 10. I think three are in the top 100. And if we talk about top 500, I think they have 10 or more universities in the rankings. So their infrastructure of in education is top class, their faculty is top class, and uh, the value they put on education is really, really high. And the top three universities in South Korea are Seoul National University, Korea University, and Yonsei University. And they call them SKY, SKY, from their first letter of the university name. And everyone, all the high school students, they compete to go to one of these three universities. Now coming to how Korea and India are related. What is the relation between Korea and India? So the relation between the two countries goes back to like early, like first century, second century, third century, and so on. So the oldest bond between these two countries is Buddhism. So Korea, once Buddhism was the official religion of Korea at one point in time. Now it's not. Now like they are secular country, so there is no official religion. But still, a huge population follows like Buddhism. I think if you count all the religious followers, 35% of them they are Buddhists, and almost 100% population they really have like respect Buddhism and its values. So Buddhism is like a part of their culture, and there are so many monuments and temples, Buddhist temples all over the country. So that is the deepest link between India and Korea. And also there is a story, a legend, that a queen from India in the 3rd century, like she went from India to South Korea by sea route, and she married a king of South Korea, Kim Suro. And some legends say that the queen belonged to Ayodhya, but like some people say that she belonged to Tamil Nadu, some people say that she belonged to maybe Sri Lanka. But like so far, like the established fact is that she was from Ayodhya, and she married a king of South Korea. And still a huge population, I think 10% of the population of Korea, they think that they are the descendants of that king and the queen. So they feel very much linked to India and Indian culture. And if you look at the third part, there is so much similarity between Korean and Indian languages, particularly Tamil. So many words, like there was a huge list like of like I think 1,000 or more words that are exactly same in Tamil and Korean. So if you see some words here like omma or appa or onni, uh, these words like na is me or I, nal is day. So these words are very very similar with Indian languages. So that is also a connection. So it's considered that somehow we were related, somehow we had like some connection going on earlier times. That's why these language commonalities came into the picture. So and in the current times, in the modern times, the diplomatic and economic relations between the two countries have been really good. And the states of the both the countries, the presidents and prime ministers of Korea and India, they have visited each other frequently in last few years. And we have a very good trade relations. And there are some other common points if we talk about between these two countries is both the countries have a colonial background. So India was a colony of England. On the other hand, Korea was a colony of Japan. So both have colonial experience, colonial history, and both the countries celebrate the Independence Day on August 15. They got independence. India got independence in 1947. Korea got 2 years before that, so 1945. But the date was same, August 15. And both countries went through the pain of division after independence. So India, after getting independence, got divided into Pakistan and India. They got divided into North Korea and South Korea. And mostly it was not because people hated each other, it was because of external interference and everything. So in South Korea also they had interference from Russia and China and USA, and they got divided. And and both the countries obviously have many cultural similarities, like respecting the elders. And when you are eating, we wait for the elders to start and then only we start eating these things. And family values, so like respect for parents and relatives, and love for your child, living together. These values are very much same in both the countries. And both the countries, they're very proud of their country and the culture and languages. So that is also a common point. Coming to the trade and economic relations, there are so many huge companies of Korea that are doing business in India, like Samsung, LG, Hyundai, and POSCO, Kia Motors. These companies are like, if even if you go to a village in India, you will find Samsung phones and Samsung fridge or LG AC air conditioner or Hyundai cars. So these are really big businesses that are existent all over the world. And if you come to the Korean Indian companies, recently many Indian companies have started entering the Korean market. And now we have TCS here, we have Infosys, we have Mahindra, Himalaya, State Bank of India. There are so many companies that are entering in Indian market, Korean market. So that has like huge employment opportunity for the students actually, the people who know a little bit of Korean. Now, I'm sure like many of you must be aware of Korean drama. It's becoming very, very popular these days all over the world, and particularly in India. I see like people are really, because it's available through Netflix and all those, channels and online websites. So people really, there are so many fans of Korean dramas these days in India, and they want to learn Korean language just to understand Korean drama without subtitles. And K-pop, I'm sure many participants here would know these guys here. On the left side, we have BTS. They are hugely popular all over the world. They were all in the like top Billboard list recently. And here on the right side, we have Blackpink. So K-pop is really huge. And I am sure like most of you would remember the song Gangnam Style song that was very popular a few years back. That was also from Korea. So K-pop is really a huge thing. And Korean movies, Korean people, they make really excellent movies. Like this year, the Oscar went to Parasite, which is a Korean movie. And recently, this movie Minari, the name is Minari, it also got the Golden Globe Award and many other awards. So Korean movies are also making it. So these are like soft power that the country has all over the world. Now, why to learn Korean? Why should a student in India learn Korean language? So there can be multiple reasons why someone might want to learn Korean. One thing is, I always say that everyone should learn at least one foreign language in their life. That is my personal opinion. I feel like everyone should, because once you learn a foreign language, it gives you a totally different perspective to look at the world, to look at things, to think about different stuff. So, and in India, most of us know at least two languages. So we know the value of knowing new languages. So that is one thing. You don't need a reason to learn a language. And if you are like a Korean drama fan or Korean pop fan, then also you have a good reason to learn Korean language, so that you can really understand the emotions at a deeper level. And also, one thing that I would really like to focus here on the later part of the presentation is Korea, as I said already, it's like a educationally very much advanced, and there is a huge opportunity for our students to apply for higher study in Korea, and they can get certain scholarships and other stuff. So I will discuss that part later. And there are career benefits. As I discussed that there are so many Korean companies that are existent in India, like POSCO, LG, Samsung, and there are Indian companies that are in Korea. So if you know a little bit of Korean, all these companies would prefer to employ you. So if we talk about career option, what are the career options available for someone who knows Korean? One thing is you can work as a Korean language expert or uh, linguist or consultant. So there are, for example, you must be knowing that these days all the companies, they are building their artificial intelligence systems like Google Translate and everything, or they are doing research in linguistics and text to speech, speech to text, and all these technologies. So there we have a lot of career opportunities. And one can also work as a Korean language translator or interpreter or a freelancer, and there is so much work available these days in these areas. And the third field is corporate jobs. So like if you are someone is studying computer science or engineering, commerce, arts, or anything, so you have one skill already, and if you just add Korean as an additional skill on your resume, it can really benefit you in your area. Because all these companies, when they need an engineer, or let's say they need an accountant, if you know Korean language, they know that you will be able to communicate with Korean staff better. So they would always prefer such students, such candidates. And there is so much of employment opportunities in the area of tourism and business and academics and research. Now, for our students, if we talk about major, Korea provides so many scholarships for people all around the world and people in India. So these are some of the major scholarships which give you, these are full scholarships. So they give you, your fees is waived, it's totally free. They give you living expense also. So they give you a certain amount like $800 $900 every month. And they also give you airfare and all those things. So these are like full completely covered scholarships, like Global Korea Scholarship, Academy of Korean Studies Scholarship, POSCO scholarships, and Art Major Scholarship, Korea Foundation. And then there are scholarships in every university. They have their own scholarships. Like every department, the professors, the departments have their own fund to invite some students. So if you are, especially for the people in science and engineering and computer science, these fields, so if the students contact those universities that we want to study at university and we want some financial assistance, they are really happy to invite, because they know that Indian students are really good, they have good skills, good learning aptitude. So they really uh, prefer to have them. So yeah, I will come to the other questions that some people are asking, that what you need to do. So here I have mentioned something. I will not go into the detail of everything. These are for students. So later they can look at the PPT. So if they want to apply, what you have to do is you just go to the internet, look, just type the name of this scholarships. You will get all the information, and you can just go through the guidelines. For every scholarship, there is a contact in charge. You will find the phone number and email address. So you can just contact them and you can just ask for more information, that this is my background, I have done this, and I'm interested in doing this. And I'm sure definitely they will help you. If you know some basic Korean, your chances will go really high, because Korean people still, they are not very good at English, and they are very proud of their own language. So if you know some Korean, that will be really beneficial. Your chances of selection will be really high. And some people, what they do is they try to find some counselors, some agents or something. You don't need to pay money to get a scholarship. Just contact the university directly and they will help you. And all the university websites, they are in English, available in on internet. So you can just type the name of the university and you will find all the information available. So this one I would leave for you. You can go through these points later. So if you want to learn Korean language, how to do it? So one thing is you can do self-study. Let's say you are studying already, as you are doing a full-time course. So obviously you don't have time to, enroll in another BA or MA in Korean. So that is one thing. If you want, you can also do like a certificate diploma or BA or MA in Korean language from a university or institution. But most of you, maybe you are doing already some other things. So you can do some short-term online course, some certification or something, or you can also self-study through, like, there is so much material for free available on websites. You can check our websites also, learnkorean.in, YouTube and Instagram. All these places are, good resources to learn Korean language. And there is an exam into Korean language that is called TOPIK, TOPIK. It's like TOEFL or IELTS. So if you get that certificate, it's the exam is there in Chennai. I think I am sure in Chennai it's conducted twice in a year. So if you can get that certificate, your chances will go really high to get an opportunity for doing masters or PhD or postdoctoral research in Korea. Now, how difficult is Korean language and how long will it take to learn? That is a very common question that people ask me. So language, see, like, there is no answer to this question, how long. Like, language learning is like a lifelong learning journey. So even if you learn for 10 years, it's still like you will not know everything. But generally, I think that if you want to make a career, or if you want to go to Korea for higher studies, I think you should be ready to invest at least 6 months or 1 year. And you can invest maybe 2, 3, 4 hours in a week. That should be more than enough. um, and as far as difficulty level is concerned, Korean is a very, very easy language. I think I would say that one of the easiest languages in the world, especially for Indians. I'm not talking about Westerners. For Americans, Europeans, Korean language is really difficult. But for Indians, it's very easy because, first, the cultural similarity is there. So they have this concept of honorific language. So using honorific language for older people, elder people, or people you respect, teachers and all. And like for younger people or friends, you don't use honorific system. So that similarity is there. So for us, it's very easy to understand. Like in Hindi, I don't know other Indian languages, so I can't tell you that. But in Hindi, for example, we have this tum and aap. So American people, European people, they can't understand the difference. What is tum and what is aap? Why? But for us, we can understand. So in Korean also, they have those kind of differences. So that is easy. And all the sounds of Korean language alphabet, every single sound is present, except maybe one. It's present in all the Indian languages. So for us, the pronunciation is really easy. And grammar is almost same. It's very similar, like subject, object, verb, that is the word order. Uh, Mm, so if I just to show the similarity between Korean and grammar of Indian languages. So here, because I know Hindi, so I have mentioned Hindi, but you can put your own language, the sentence in your own language, and I'm 100% sure that it will be same in all Indian languages, whether it is Tamil, Bangla, Malayalam, or uh, Haryanvi or anything. So here I have written a sentence that Ramesh eats a mango on Sunday with a friend in the park. It's a long sentence. I have deliberately made it long so that I can include subject, object, verb, time, and location and everything else. And I have color coded the words. So you can see that in English and Korean, the word order has totally changed. So for example, in English, Sunday is coming here, but in Korean, Sunday is coming here. Friend is here, here friend is here. Park is coming here in English on the end. In the Korean, it's coming here. But if you look at the between Hindi and Korean, the word order is exactly same if you look at the colors. So, and it's same in every language, every Indian language. So for Indian people, it's very, very easy to learn Korean. And if you look at the alphabet, it's really, simple. No, it's much simpler than any Indian language. I think our scripts are really difficult to write. Like if you talk about Tamil or Telugu or Hindi, they are really difficult. We have like curves and all those things. Here they're all straight lines. Uh, 1 second, let me just have a look at some questions. One question we have is learning Korean certificate. So generally, like as I said, you can apply for the topic exam and you can get the certificate. Even if you study through self-study, you can get the certificates. And what is between Ramesh and Sunday? Oh, this is like a particle, they call it. Like for example, we have cases, like we say Ramesh ne in Hindi. So that is the thing. But in Hindi also, in Indian languages also, we have those cases like ne or ko or may, and like postpositions and prepositions and all these things. So that is this. Yeah. Faculty exchange and all these things are there. Even for faculty members, they have many opportunities. So if you contact the universities, they have so many opportunities. They invite faculty members for Korean language trainings and some other research opportunities also. So yeah, there are huge opportunities. But yes, learning a little bit of Korean is kind of necessary. Otherwise, it's very difficult to survive here in Korea. So these are the alphabets. So you see that they have 40 characters. They have like 21 vowels, and here they have 19 consonants. And here I have mentioned the pronunciations of the like all the characters. So you can just go through it, and all the pronunciation and everything is available online also. So I will share a link maybe in the chat later. So you can go to that link and you can hear the pronunciation. But I will just pronounce it once, for the sake of it. So you can just, if you, I don't know if we have the recording of the session or not, but if you have, you can, it can help you. So these are the vowels, and the pronunciation is like a, ya, o, yo, o, yo, u, you. This is a sound that is not present in, I think, I'm not sure. I don't know all the languages, but I think most of the languages don't have this sound. It's like So when you try to say but with your teeth closed, so that is the sound So this is So I haven't mentioned this in Hindi, and this is e. And here we have a, ye, a, ye, wa, we, way. These three letters pronounced in the same similar way, like way, way. And then we have wo, we, and this is e. Okay, so that is, these are the vowels. Now let's go to the consonants parts. In the consonants, we have three types of consonants. So you see, it's very easy to write actually. These are all straight lines, this, like either horizontal or vertical. So I can guarantee you that anyone can learn Korean script in 1 hour. If you just sit down with a paper and pen and just open a video, I will share the videos, and also you can easily find if you just type in Google, or if you go to this learnkorean.in website, you will find the videos. You can just sit for 1 hour and you can learn the alphabet easily. So this is ka, na, tha, ra, ma, pa, sa. This letter is, if it is coming alone, just the circle, it's pronounced like ung. But if it is coming with this vowel character, it's pronounced like a. Cha, ha. And then we have 5 consonants which are like doubled versions. So for example, this letter is written twice. So it will become ka, ta, pa, sa, and cha. And then we have 4 aspirated. Aspirated means like more air will come out of your mouth, like ka, a little bit stronger sounds, ka, tha, pa, and cha. These are the, so that's all. That is the Korean alphabet. So if you just write it maybe 4-5 times and pronounce it 4-5 times, you will be able to learn it. And making words, that's also very easy. So it's not possible to teach everything here, but I will just give you an idea how it functions. So for example, here we have the sound n letter. So n, and here we have the vowel a. So na plus a will become na, and it will be written like this, na and a. Very similar to Indian language. So na, and here we have ma character. So ma plus u, and this is a vowel. So ma plus u will become mu. So if we write this together, na and mu, namu, namu means a tree. So we just write all the characters together. For example, here ha plus a plus na is han, and ka plus u plus ka is cook. So Hanguk is Korea. So this is also not that difficult. You just have to spend maybe 1 hour looking at some videos and practicing connecting letters, and you should be able to get it. Now let's learn some basic Korean stuff. Okay, some very circle sound is let me show you. So if you go, if you notice this, I have the vowels are written a little bit differently here, and here I have written a little bit differently. So here you can see all the circles, but here there are no circles. So these are actually in I think in all Indian languages it's the same. We call it the matras. So matras are different. For example, the people who know Hindi, they will understand this. So for example, if you want to write, let me change the color here. Ka, so you will write like this. Sorry about my handwriting. So this, see, this is the a matra. But if you want to write a, simply a, then you write like this. You write like this, right? So only this will not work. It is invalid. If you just write this, it doesn't mean a. So it's the same. So these are the matras. But reality, when you want to write the sounds like a, this is a character. So when you really want to write a, you will write like this. When this is like o matra. So if you want to write o, you will write like this. So all these characters, they will have circles before or above them when they are really used in the words. So that is why here you see all the circles. But if the circle comes alone without any vowel matra, then its pronunciation will be ung. If it is coming with vowels, then it has no sounds at all. We will only read the matra like a. This circle is just for representation. For example, yeah, that is how it functions. But yeah, obviously, to properly explain the alphabet, it will take some time. Maybe at least 1 hour it will take to explain the alphabet. So you can go through the content. I will share that. Now let's come to some basic Korean phrases that we should know. So one most common greeting in Korea is Annyeong haseyo. Annyeong haseyo. Annyeong haseyo. It means like it can be used for hello, hi, namaste, namaskar, good morning, good evening, everything. It covers everything. So you can just say Annyeong haseyo. Annyeong haseyo. Hello, hi. Then we have a phrase here that's 만나서 반가워요. 만나서 반가워요. That means nice to meet you. 만나서 반가워요. And then we have thank you, which is 감사합니다. 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 That is thank you. 감사합니다. And then we have sorry, which is 미안해요. 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 And then we have two words for bye. 안녕히 가세요 and 안녕히 계세요. So the only difference is this a and e. 가세요, 계세요. So if someone is leaving, then you will tell 안녕히 가세요 to them. It means like go well, go safely. And if someone is staying there and you are leaving, then you will say 안녕히 계세요. 안녕히 계세요. So 안녕히 계세요 is like stay well, stay safe. So 안녕히 가세요, 안녕히 계세요. So yeah, that is how. So I'll repeat once again. 안녕하세요. 만나서 반가워요. 감사합니다. 미안해요. 안녕히 가세요. 안녕히 계세요. Yeah, so that is how it is. Now, how to say yes and no? So yes can be said in two ways in Korean. One is ne, ne, and one is ye, Both are okay. Both are same. Ne or ye. That is yes. And Annyeong is no. Annyeong. Annyeong. Annyeong is no. And then we have a word which is very commonly appears in dramas and all. Khenchanayo. Khenchanayo. In English, it looks very complicated. Khenchanayo. Khenchanayo. Khenchanayo is like okay. So for example, if you want to ask someone, are you okay? You can say Khenchanayo. And he can also answer in the same phrase. Yes, ne Khenchanayo. So ne is yes. Ne Khenchanayo. Yes, I'm okay. I'm fine. And chowayo is like good. It's good. So whenever you want to say something is good, you can say chowayo. Chowayo. And then there is a common phrase when you meet someone after a long time or even any day, you can ask them, how are you? Are you doing well? Are you fine? So the phrase is chal chineseyo, chal chineseyo, chal chineseyo. And the answer can also be same. The answer can also be ne. Ne is yes. So they always add ne, ne chal chineseyo, ne chal chineyo. So yeah, and generally you can also repeat the same question. Like in English, we say how are you doing? Then you also repeat the same thing. How are you doing? So yeah, so that is how you can say chalchineseyo. And then mashike thuseyo. Mashike thuseyo is a phrase which we use like bon appetit, like before meal. So it's like asking everyone have a good meal. Mashike thuseyo. And then mashike mogosayo. Mashike mogosayo. Mashike mogosayo means thank you for the meal. So whenever someone buys you a meal or someone cooks for you, then after eating you say mashike mogosayo. Thank you for the meal. It means like I ate properly, I ate well. Mashike mogosayo. Now these are some very common phrases and one can learn them in maybe half an hour easily, and they can really, if you come to Korea ever, it will really help you in your daily life. One is like mo means what, mo, and odi means where. And you see all the words they have in the end, yeyo, yeyo, yeyo. Yeyo means is, mr. So moeo will become what is it, what is this thing, moeo. Odieo, odieo is like where is something. So whenever you want to ask the location of something, let's say you want to go to Gangnam, you can ask Gangnam odieo, or station odieo, airport odieo, hospital odieo. You just use English word maybe if you don't know the word, and you can ask odieo. Or olmaeo. If you want to ask the price of something, you can say olmaeo, something olmaeo. You can just take the name of the word, like apple olmaeo, or banana olmaeo, or milk olmaeo. And onjeo, when is something. Like if you have a meeting with some Korean person or in some company, you can ask meeting onjeo. When is the meeting? Onjeo. And then there is a word chukhaheyo. Chukhaheyo. Chukhaheyo is like congratulations, and it can be used for everything. Like happy birthday, happy anniversary, someone got a job, someone got a scholarship, any good news is there, you can just say chukhaheyo. Congratulations. Chukhaheyo. And then a very useful phrase, chuseyo. Whenever you need something, you will just add the word name here and you will say chuseyo. So for example, if you need water, you can just say water chuseyo, or milk chuseyo, or something chuseyo. It means give me this, give me that thing. So if you go to any shop, you want to buy something, you can just say something chuseyo. And this is also a very useful phrase, thowa chuseyo. Thowa means help. So thowa chuseyo is like give me help, please help me. Thowa chuseyo. Then this is how you can give a basic introduction of yourself in Korean language. Pretty simple. So you will say che irimi. Che is my, irimi is name, and yeyo, as I already said, it means is mr. So che irimi, for example, I can say che irimi Satish yeyo. My name is Satish. che irimi Satish yeyo. 저는 인도 사람이에요. 저는 인도 사람이에요. 저는 means I. 저는, Indo is India. So Indo Saram means Indian person, Indian citizen. Indo Saram이에요. I am Indian. 저는 인도 사람이에요. And then you can say When you want to talk about your profession, that I'm a student, I'm a teacher, I'm a company, like a software engineer, anything. So here the word for a student is 학생. So you can just say 저는 학생이에요. I am a 학생. Or you can say I am 저는 student이에요. 저는 doctor이에요. 저는 teacher이에요. Or something. You can just use the English word here, and still you can speak in Korean. 저는 teacher이에요 or professor이에요. And then you can use this 만나서 반가워요, which we already learned here. 만나서 반가워요, which means nice to meet you. So you can say 만나서 반가워요. So that will be a very short and crisp introduction. So you can start with 안녕하세요, obviously. So we can say 안녕하세요. 제 이름이 사티시예요. 저는 인도 사람이에요. 저는 선생님이에요. 선생님 is teacher. 선생님이에요. 만나서 반가워요. 감사합니다. 감사합니다 is thank you. So that is a good, simple, brief introduction. Now, those of you who want to learn Korean, you can just go and search, for example, Learn Korean in India on YouTube, and you will find all the basic lessons, Hangul, alphabet, how to make words, how to make sentences. It's already there. So you can just go to it and you can look for all this information, all the audio and everything. There is so much free material available. So just go through it, and I'm sure it will, you can learn a new language if you invest just 2-3 days or something. A formal way to it's very formal actually. The sentence that I have added here, these are all polite sentences. I haven't added any casual or impolite sentences, because that can really offend people. So you can really use all of them. Myanhayo is perfectly fine. You can use with anyone, any old person or anything. So that is all. I would like to end by just saying that Korea is a country from which we can really learn a lot of things. One thing that we can learn from them is the value of education. So if you see, Korea and India got independent at almost the same time, 2 years apart. And Korea was a really, really poor country, a very poor country, just 70 years back. And we were also poor. But in 70 years, you can see that they have made themselves 10th largest economy. They are the really super developed country. They are totally literate and highly educated and everything. And while we still, lack things. So maybe we can learn from them how to, and one thing that has contributed to their development is education. They have focused really, too much on education. They have tried to educate every single person, even in the rural areas. They have opened schools and everything. And so that is something that we can really learn from them. So thank you so much for listening to my talk so far. If you have any questions, I would be really happy to answer them. Thank you. 감사합니다.
How do you say thank you, sir, in Korean? Excuse me.
감사합니다. 감사합니다.
I
have mentioned here.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, do we have I don't think we have so many silent letters as we have in English. Am I right?
Right. You're exactly, you're correctly saying that. We don't have that many silent, but yes, we have some. We have some letters that become silent, but not at this stage. Once you go deeper in the language, you will find some conjugations where some letter is silent, but generally it's not like English. And if a letter is coming there, it will be pronounced.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was really wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So if we have any other questions, let me, some people have mentioned how long it took me to learn Korean fully. As I said, it never is fully. I cannot say that I have learned Korean language fully. I haven't learned fully even my own mother tongue. So even English or mother tongue, it takes, like, language is not something that you'll ever learn fully or completely. There is always more things to learn. But personally, I have done my bachelor's degree in Korean. I have done my master's in Korean and my MPhil in Korean. So maybe 10 years, you can say, I have learned, but still there are so many things to learn.
Sir, like in English, we go on adding new words into the dictionary. These days, you can see
Yes,
like it's been taken from different languages. Actually,
right,
English is only 20% of it, and all 80% of other words are taken from different languages. Is
right.
Korean language having something like that? And is it developing like, in old Korean was like this, and in new Korean language we say like this? Is there something like that?
That's a very interesting question. That's a very good question, actually. So yes, the language is definitely changing. So the Korean language that was maybe 100 years back was
Mm,
totally different from the language that is available now, or maybe even
mm,
20, 30 years back. So it's totally
mm,
evolving. Like nowadays, the way we speak in India, when we talk
mm,
in English or any other language, we use so
mm.
many English words
Yes.
normally. So in Korea also, it's very common. They are using, like we say, for example, in Hindi, we say English. So we speak English, Hindi plus English.
Yeah, yeah,
So in
yeah,
Korea,
yeah.
they call it Konglish. So they mix, they
Uh-huh.
take words from all the languages. English, they have many words from German and French and Chinese also. They have like many huge influence from Chinese, because China was like the biggest country in this area. So they have impact
Mm.
from Chinese also. And the language has definitely changed. It's continuously changing.
I mean, of course, any language for that matter, there will be language evaluation and language variations will be there. So,
Totally, totally.
like that, the changes will be coming according to the trend and to the what do you call, the people's attitude and all that. I think so. Am I right,
Totally agree
sir?
with you. Yes. Right, right, right. Totally agree with you.
Good
That's very
morning,
true.
sir. I would like to ask you certain
Yes.
questions.
Yes, good morning.
I
Yes,
have
sure.
been an avid watcher of Korean dramas, and such how I have
Okay.
started learning Korean also. So
Uh-huh.
I'll not be that fluent as you are, but of course
Uh-huh.
the country has fascinated me much more, and I would like to take up my say project research proposal, which is comparing Indian
Okay.
literature and Korean literature as far as say, and as you had said, like the language is similar. And what exactly
Yes.
do you think that the Korean universities would offer me for, say, a faculty exchange program? Because I was the person who asked about faculty exchange thing. And like,
Yes.
for example, I can teach my Indian literature over there, and they can provide me with the Korean, I mean, the
Right.
literature and my for my research.
Mhm. So your question about is that only? I didn't get your second question. What was the second question?
No, the thing is, sir, like I wish to do a comparative study of Indian and
Yeah,
Korean
that,
languages and
yes.
literature. So, what
Yes.
exactly, which Korean university? Because Yonsei University I did fine, but it is offering only for graduates and undergrad, postgraduates. I am already a
I
PhD
would
holder, so I just want to know.
ma'am, actually, if I would suggest you to check this uh, AKS scholarship here. If you let me just go back to that page, you just please check
AKSS.
these two: Academy of Computer Korean Studies and Korea Foundation Scholarship, because these are like, this AKS is totally focused on Korean culture, literature, and language. So if you tell them that I want to do a comparison of Korean literature and Indian literature, they will be really happy, actually, because there has been not much research on that comparative study of Indian literature, or even like local regional literature like Tamil, Telugu, or other literature. So if you can do that, I'm sure they would like to support you.
Okay, so out
So
of
you
the
can
Sky
check their
University,
websites.
yes, sir, out of the Sky University, I think Yonsei is much
Out of a
related.
sky, I think Yonsei, all the big universities, they have a literature department. All the universities in
Okay,
Korea.
sir.
So you can just check the department of Korean language and literature. Just check that department.
Okay.
And because
So
your
my,
major will be mainly Korean language and literature, you will be doing a comparative
yes, sir.
studies, but your major will be Korean literature. So you should
Okay, sir.
apply to the Department of Korean Literature, and just send their study proposal that I want to do a comparative study of this. They all have a PhD programs, I think. So you can apply for PhD. Short term program, I don't think the universities have that many. For short term programs, you can contact these people like Academy of Korean Studies, Korea Foundation. If you want to pursue a degree like PhD or something, a postdoctorate, then universities will be better, I think.
Okay, I'll be looking for postdoctorate then. So I'll be lovely if you can share your mail ID also for the further contact or
Sure,
something like that.
sure.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, I will mention my email in the chat. Yeah.
Sir, I have another question.
Yes, please.
What made you to learn Korean, sir? Is there any particular incident or something like that? Just
Actually,
curious.
I get
Hope
this
you don't
question.
mind.
No, I
Yeah.
don't mind at all. That's a question that I get most actually. And I will tell you, I didn't even know about Korea actually when I started learning. I didn't know where Korea is and what Korean language is. And at that time, like the internet was also not that,
Mm, mm, mm,
present.
mm.
So I didn't watch Korean drama or pop anything. I still don't watch Korean drama and pop much actually. But at that time I didn't know anything. I totally opted it out because I just wanted to learn a foreign language. And I just did like a measured calculation that if I want to learn a foreign language, what language should I learn? So at that time, mostly the popular languages were like everyone was learning Spanish, French, German, or Chinese and Japanese. These were the popular languages. But I chose Korean because I thought like if right now, if you want a French language expert, you can find a
Yeah.
hundred experts maybe in your own city. Maybe in the
Okay.
whole India, you will find 10,000 experts of French language, even Chinese,
Mm,
Japanese. But if you really want to find a Korean language experts, you won't find many. So I thought
mm.
that learning a language that is not popular, maybe it will
Yeah.
benefit me more. So that was the
Mm.
sole reason at that time. But once I started
Okay.
learning, yeah, I got
Mm,
more interested in the language.
okay.
So yeah, but the motivation was that only. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have a question related to GKS scholarship.
Yes,
Sir,
please.
I am a graduate student, but I want to do bachelor's again. Matlab,
You
what do
can
I
do,
do?
Ayoshishi. So you can definitely do bachelor's again. So the Korean people, the good thing about them is they do not care about what your bachelor degree was in, what your master degree. So for example, if your bachelor's is in commerce, but if you want to do linguistics in masters, you can do that. Or let's say your master's was in engineering, but you want to do PhD in music, you can do that. They do not care about that. As long as you convince them that you are really interested in the language or that field,
Yes,
they do
sir.
not care. They do not care even
Oh,
about
that's
gaps.
nice.
S-
Yeah,
Mm.
that's really good actually.
Sir, I have read in that eligibility in that
Eligibility criteria.
yes, sir, yes, sir. So they said they don't accept a graduate student for undergraduate
No, it's
programs.
nothing like that. You want to do undergraduate again, you are saying,
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
and you have a master's degree already,
No,
you
no,
said.
I don't have master degree.
Yeah, so you are not a graduate. When they say graduate student, they mean master's student. Graduate
Oh,
is called master's here. If they
Mm.
mean BA, they will say undergraduate. So you are not a graduate yet. You are undergraduate. So you can do undergraduate again. Yeah, if you are
okay,
already a master's, then maybe they will not like
mm,
to take you again for
okay,
bachelor's degree.
okay,
Yes.
sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, so if anyone else has any questions, okay. Visa and passport, definitely you will not don't need to get before applying. Once you are selected, they will help you with the visa process. Before that, you just need to have maybe passport, but that is also not required. After selection, they will help you with that.
But otherwise, it is a free country to visit. There isn't any.
No. They have
Yeah.
you need visa for
Only if
that.
you want. Yeah.
You need visa
Only
for
if you
that.
want to go to study or to pursue a job or something, then those processes are different. But otherwise, visiting a country is not
Definitely you
a.
can visit. Yeah, it's you can easily get a tourist visa and you can visit the country. No problem with that at all. Yeah, they will easily give a tourist visa to anyone. Mm, okay, and once someone has asked me, Nishtulashi, I think, how mostly Korean people know Japanese, because Korea and Japan are like neighbors, and they have Korea was also a colony of Japan, and they have huge trade relations. So millions of people from Japan visit Korea every year, and millions of Korean people they visit Japan. So, for example, let's say it's the same as like Hindi people, we know the language of Pakistan, right? We can communicate with them easily. So because that is the relationship is huge, so it's always beneficial to learn the language of the other country, Japan or Korea, because you can get so many part-time jobs in shops and shopping malls and other places, because they get Japanese customers a lot. So everyone learns Japanese like a second language. Like in India, we also learn, if you are Tamil, you learn Telugu or English or Hindi as a second language. So it's the same like them, same like that for them. So Japanese people will learn Korean, Korean people will learn Japanese or Chinese. So it's like that only.
Thank you, sir.
Teaching jobs, someone has asked me, teaching, Sheila, I think she has asked. So teaching job, I would tell you that mostly they prefer like native speakers for English teaching. So they would like to get teachers from USA or native English speaking countries. But the government is trying, like the Indian government is trying to convince the Korean government that we are also like, we have a huge population of English speaking people. So you can get teachers from India also, and maybe in coming years they will start getting Indian teachers also for English language teaching. But right now it's a
Okay.
little bit difficult. Yes. Applying for GKS, Shaurya, you have asked me, when you apply for GKS, one thing that I said, like if you learn Korean, you are already like a little bit apart from other candidates, because most of the candidates, they don't know Korean. But if they see that you know Korean language, at least it shows that you are interested in the country, you are ready to invest time in knowing their culture, understanding them. So that really, gives a good impression. So that is one thing. And also you should work on your like study proposal properly. Just some people see that they have spelling mistakes in the study proposal, and so those are like not professional things. They are really punctual people. Also be punctual, contact them properly in a professional way, and try to get, in the last point, if you see, try to get as many certifications as you can. Certifications for like participation in this kind of programs like FDP or other internship program. If you have done any social work somewhere, if you can attach those certificates, additional extracurricular certificates, your chances become much better, because they prefer that. Can we learn Korean only through watching Korean drama? Definitely you can, but just through watching you can't. We have to learn the grammar and vocabulary on the side. The people who learn by watching, just watching, they also invest some time. They try to like speak the same phrases and things multiple times. So yeah, they invest time, but definitely you can learn by watching Korean drama. So yes, I think I have answered all the questions. So yeah, thank you again for listening to me and asking the questions.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes, yes, please.
Is this audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good morning, sir. Very good morning.
Good
I'm
morning.
Karta from Taklava University. I'm very interested to do some collaborative projects with engineering subjects
Yes.
and with NLP. So my area of interest is that is
Oh,
I am
natural
doing.
language processing, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So is there any opportunities or funding opportunities as well as
Huge, actually. I would say in language and linguistics, you can. I think all the universities in Korea, they have linguistics and language departments, and especially if you are a faculty member, they always prefer people, because they know that you have teaching experience. And also if you can contact them, I'm sure it will be, not that difficult to get opportunities. I would say that maybe when contacting, just why not contact like multiple universities. Don't stick to like two or three major universities, because sometimes what happens is like everyone is trying to get into these three top universities, so they get like huge number of applications. But there are many smaller universities which are also very good, but no one like contacts them. So if you contact them, maybe the chances are really higher, because people don't contact them, and if they get some applications, they would be really happy to take you in.
okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Mm,
I hope
yes.
I hope our resource person has answered and clarified the questions of our participants. A moment of gratitude makes a difference in your attitude. Now I call upon Dr. N. Ravikumar, Assistant Professor, Department of English, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning to everyone. Joined in a 7-day international virtual faculty development program on an expedition towards multicultural lingualism, day 6. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver a vote of thanks for this event to all dignitaries assembled here. First of all, I would like to thank our beloved principal, Dr. S. Balaswamy sir, KPR College Arts, Science and Research, for his moral support to all endurance. Most importantly, it's my first and foremost thank to our resource person, Mr. Sati Satyarthi, lead educator and founder, MKI, Learn Korean in India, South Korea. Really, it was a wonderful session, sir. We are blessed to have such a culture journey towards a Korean language. The words, the valuable, what you have shared is very, very resourceful, sir. And you have given more information about basic information about Korean and Korean culture, traditional customs, natural beauty and modernity, educational system, relation between Indian and Korean language, scholarship available in Korea, Korean language elements, communicational patterns, all these things. Okay, once again, thank you, sir. I thank all the dean faculty members of our college participated from various countries who joined and graced the FTP as a historical success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Your session was really informative, educational, and enlightening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dear participants, thank you for joining today's session. We are posting the feedback link in the chat box. You can fill in the feedback link and kindly give your suggestions. Thank you all for joining us today in this 7-day international FDP on multilingual culturalism on Korean language. Please do join us tomorrow. We are going to explore Malayalam language tomorrow. We are also having our valedictory session, being the 7th day tomorrow. This journey would have been impossible without you. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us pay tribute to our nation. Let us end the session with national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please do join us tomorrow. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful session.
Thank you.
Shall we take leave, sir?